Welcome everybody to my weekly chess stream here. International Master William Paschall, Slaggy on Twitch. We're playing on leechess.org. Our account there is Sparkle Horse. I'm streaming from Budapest, Hungary. Welcome everybody. We're going to get started here. I don't see the saddest troll. Calidus will probably be with us shortly. Our regulars. And we got a challenge for move 11. He's rated 2053, challenging me to 7-4. Guys, if you want to play, make it 5 to 8 minutes with an increment. I'm accepting all challengers, perhaps except for provisionally rated players who challenge me to rated games. I'm not going to play rated games with provisionals, but if you are provisional, I'll play a casual game. If you guys want to play casual or rated, either way it's fine with me. Let me know before the game. Alright, move 11. I'm going to get started here, guys. Alright, some messages. Not important now. Let's go. Move 11. What's up, man? So, I've been playing a lot of English opening, knight f3, and I want to kind of branch back out into my first love, which is really d4. CBM 95, welcome, good morning. The problem is, since I've been inactive, more or less, in the last 6-7 years, you know, my opening knowledge is not what it used to be, not up to date. You know, it seems like my opening knowledge is kind of like circa 2006, and I need to work on my repertoire a lot more. Alright, so he plays knight f6, e6. CBM 95. I need some very intensive study time in my openings here. Alright, we're going to play the classical Nimzo with white. This is one of the setups that I used when I was basically playing full time until, well, more or less 2008. Knight c6. This is a variation I used at my last tournament. Zalakaros Open. It's not really that great for black. I think it's called the Taimanov variation, but I used it in one game where my opponent surprised me. He had never played d4 before, and he plays d4, and then I'm like, well, he must be prepared. So I played the Taimanov system. I've played both colors with this line. Black has a little trouble because, well, you don't get that much pressure. The c-pawn can't really influence the center, so kind of classic queen pawn problem. And knight gets in the way of the c-pawn. Guitar player, bro, what's up? So maybe move 11 knows my game. I don't know. I think I castled in my game, and there's really nothing I can do here but transpose to a normal line. So bishop d2 is probably not the only move for white. I guess you could play bishop g5, but it's probably not dangerous for black. So, yeah, this is going to transpose to my game. Now, I can't remember the guy's name. That's a game I could actually go over on my YouTube channel. I've been thinking about which game to do this week's video on. And I've got a couple games from the tournament in Zalakaros, Hungary I played, which are, actually most of the games are interesting. There's 2 quick draws that shouldn't be discussed, but the other 7 were all good games. I've annotated a couple of those for chesslecture.com, so I can't use those. But I've got a bunch of games. I'll decide which one to use here. Well, this is my game. I'm going to transpose to... I was black in this position. It's not a system I have that much faith in for black. It's kind of passive with the knight blocking the c-pawn, but it's playable. I lost once with white against Humpy Konaru, the famous Indian woman grandmaster. I mean, man's grandmaster. Is that how you say it? Anyway, e5. I don't remember how I lost to Humpy, though, exactly. I mean, it seemed like my opening was okay. Now, e5 right away. And I guess I have to take here. I lost to Humpy later. Much later in the game, in the middle game. So d takes e5, d takes e5, bishop d3. I have to be careful with bishop d3. Yeah, sometimes black has threats of e4. Casey Bryden's been here before, I think. Not new. Bishop d3. So welcome, man. Played a warm-up game on ICC this morning, and humanity just sometimes really gets me depressed. I played this guy, and he was worse the entire game, but I had 2 rooks against the queen. I was probably winning, but I think at some point we got low on time. I allowed him a repetition by perpetual check, and we both had maybe 5 seconds left, and we repeated moves like 2.5 or 4 half moves, and then he flagged me by like not making a drawing move, making a losing move instead. So it's very important, you know, that you try to like avoid a draw and get a lost position by making a losing move to win on time in a blitz game. That's what it's all about, guys. Winning or losing is more important than free Kaspersky update is on my screen. Man, that is annoying. I don't really like Kaspersky, but I guess that all virus programs are kind of scams. Alright, antivirus. Bishop g4. Wow. Move 11 just getting his pieces developed here. You guys might not understand what I was just rambling about. It's okay. I was angry because this guy just flagged me in a drawn position where he was making a losing move to flag me, to confuse me at the last possible second, when he was acting like he was going to repeat and agree to a draw. People are horrible. Bishop g4. Good developing move, but sometimes this guy just sort of hangs out on g4. What are we going to do here? I think I have to play knight g5 now, which is a logical move anyway, because it controls the e4 square. And we're incidentally attacking h7. Maybe soften up his king side a little bit. But the important thing is just kind of controlling the central square, e4. Guitar Player Study said, put my challenge off a bit. Dude, why do you put your challenge off a bit? Alright, man. Why don't you just wait? You just want to be the first person to challenge? Because you're very egotistical. Well, you weren't the first person to challenge. You were the second person. You seem to be an honest guy, telling correct results. No, but I mean, you know, you have a game where you're worse the whole game, and you never had a chance to win, but you finally reach like a position where you have perpetual check, and both flags are hanging, and you pretend you're gonna like make a draw by repeating moves, and then subtly you make this like random move just to like confuse the other guy, and it's kind of dirty pool, you know what I mean? That dude's not gonna be my friend in real life. So h6. Knight h7 doesn't really do anything, you know. I also have h3 maybe. h3 is interesting. He doesn't have a great square for his bishop. Although h3 maybe bishop h5, g4. Pawn takes h5, pawn takes h5. Knight takes h5. I'm not sure. Maybe h3 and then if bishop h5, then I play knight e4. That's kind of interesting. This way I could drive him to h5 and then later play g4 when his bishop wouldn't have a lot of squares. Obviously taking on g5 is very dangerous for black here with the h-file open. As far as I know, ICC might be considered being malware. They're able to scan your hard drives, your RAM. They do screenshots. I didn't know about that. Well, I knew that they can scan your hard drive. I don't know. Years ago, I really don't know if they have the capacity to do that anymore. Maybe at some point. ICC doesn't seem like it's really good shape. Bishop e2. What do we want to do here? Now, this move looks pretty bizarre. Leaving my king in the center isn't really necessary, because I should simply take with the bishop. Now I can, at some point later on, maybe open up the H file. I don't know, contorted silver. All that stuff could be true. It could also be like a thing of the past, or it could be a thing of the future. But I know that ICC's membership is way down in the last years. So, speaking of memberships being way down, finally, after like months of trying to get it to work, I got a Play Chess account working. There's not a lot of improvement over on Play Chess either. It looks like the same site it was 15 years ago. It's really kind of sad. Even more, it still looks like the same site it was 20 years ago. Alright, castles. We got the bishop pair. Black's opened up. That was a tough spot for move 11. I don't know. That's the problem with playing bishop g4. It takes a while to get used to this kind of position. But who's to say? Bishop g4, it's sort of developing for the sake of development, but I'm never really 100% comfortable with that move when I'm black, because it is like your good bishop, and you can see there, I mean, there's a lot of weakness in the black position on the white squares. Well, now that it's gone, especially. But, you know, putting it on g4 with d5 being kind of a weak square, that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's kind of tricky piece to develop, and that's actually the case almost always, it seems like, with the queen's bishop in every kind of opening. It's always a problem piece. All right, so move 11, though, he's hanging on here. Maybe I can just play queen f5. That move looks pretty inconvenient for black, I would think. It's kind of a cheapo, though. I guess if I play queen f5 and I play queen takes g5, he'll have like bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, knight e4, or something like that. Well, that wouldn't even work, would it? Queen f5 feels like a cheapo. I don't know. He could play something like queen c5 maybe. I don't know. Queen f5 doesn't feel right to me. I think I'm going the wrong way if I do that. I should just focus on controlling the position. All right, we're getting kind of low. We're babbling a lot, and we're not concretely focusing here. So queen f5, queen c5, we grab a pawn. Then he has like bishop takes c3. So that's really nasty. I mean, I think this is legitimate, like a legitimate threat in this position. Maybe knight d5, changing the whole game. Well, this is kind of modest, though. I don't think I have a lot here, but we should have something. Feels like we should have some advantage. Although maybe trading the bishop pair isn't really the right decision. When you have the bishop pair, we've already got a troll. What troll? Well, I know I played a troll on ICC this morning. I'm not sure we have any in the stream yet. I mean, it's like you're worse the whole game, and like, it's just a blitz game. You should just agree to a draw. I mean, you're the lower rated player. You were never better. You were actually lost, and then you're like greedy and like want to win on time. It's okay. Why would anybody do that? Whatever. So then you have like an opponent who hates you for the rest of your life too. Just no reason to be like an online blitz troll. Queen b3. I think this was a mistake by me. I think I really shouldn't have traded bishops at this stage, because when I trade bishops, it becomes knight versus bishop, and he can focus everything on the dark squares with like a blockading kind of defense strategy. He's still a little bit worse here, but you know, I think that his position is probably tenable. I could play a3, knight a6, queen takes b7, then I'm opening up the line against myself. That's dangerous. Look at that. a3, knight a6, queen takes b7, when black can choose between rook b8 and knight c5 with counterplay. So no matter what I do, it looks like black's going to get some kind of counterplay here. Maybe I should just rip the knight off on a6, activate his rook, then take on b7. My queen is almost trapped there. But I guess we could try it, but it seems like there must be a better approach here. The problem is otherwise his knight gets to c5 and it's a very good blockade. Move 11's going to lose on time here. He's got 4-second increments. Just uninstalled ICC. Well, queen c5 check. Okay. Yeah, I think queen c5 check is probably a mistake. Put your queen in the line of fire. It also takes away the c5 square from the knight. So we could consider grabbing here. Queen takes b7. Queen takes b7. Looks crazy, but we're on his knight now, and I'm not going to sack my queen. I was intending to play this. So the idea is queen c6. Yes, some tactic here that probably doesn't work. Yeah. Queen takes a3, so, I mean, I could choose now. Maybe bishop takes a6. I thought queen takes rook. Queen takes rook maybe doesn't work. Wanted to play queen takes rook. But he has queen b4. I didn't see that. I could have 2 rooks for a queen again. That brings back great memories of my game this morning, but bishop takes a6. I guess at the very least I can do that. Rook b6 drops a rook. Maybe it's better to take on b6 there. Okay, move 11, I think time just sort of decided the game there, but you were sort of hanging on. I don't really know that we played that well. I mean, I think bishop g4 is a mistake, then I had a great position, then I probably made a mistake with knight d5, like losing some of my advantage. And at the end, you might be holding on with some tricks. Guitar player, now, I'm sorry, I accepted your challenge, guitar player. Do you want to play now, or do you want to wait, dude? Because you did say to me, you wanted me to delay it, and I clicked the challenge. But if you want, I can abort the game. We can play a little bit later. So think about it for 10-20 seconds and give me an answer. Sorry for the delay, guys, but I forgot the guitar player asked me to hold off on the challenge. I'm not sure what he wants to do. Do you want to start the game or not, man? Okay, you suppose we'll play. All right, sorry about that. So you did ask, but I just started getting distracted. Do you know how dangerous Google? Man, the world is a dangerous place. I don't know about this ICC stuff, the Internet Chess Club, but anything's possible. Well, I know like for example, poker sites may do similar kind of stuff. I'm not sure. You sign this huge, you know, waiver when you sign up, and you don't even read what it says. Bishop e7. We hereby take the right to scan your hard drive. Maybe it's in there. Guitar player. I play bishop g5. Yeah, this is solid, but all the modern players are looking at bishop f4. the Catalan. And then c6 is a move I'm always happy to see, because c5 is not playable here. I mean, it's playable, but it's not good. But the idea of c5 later is really fundamental. We got conspiracy theories on everything. Yeah, let's not get carried away with conspiracy theories here in the stream. I'm as much a conspiracy theory freak as anybody, but I try to keep it to myself. Basically, I don't want anybody else to know I'm totally crazy. Yeah, I'm sure that Google's totally, shall we say, corrupt. D takes c4, bishop takes c4, and now h6. Yeah, I've had this a lot. It might have been recommended in some books somewhere. There was a time when I thought this was just a bad variation for black. And I did beat Fair Jula. Now b6. That's an interesting move. You know what, guitar player? I don't think anybody's ever played that against me. Because b5 is very weakening. But b6 is kind of the same idea of developing the bad piece without weakening your structure as much. So I have to say, I mean, that's a really legitimately interesting idea. And the big question here is, does guitar player have... Does he have tactics if e4? You know, first of all, he has this kind of stuff like knight takes e4. This is very important, guys. If I try to expand in the center, he has a tactic, knight takes e4. Kind of Sicilian. You guys hear that airplane? They're watching us. Bishop takes e7, knight takes c3, bishop takes d8, etc., etc. So, wow, I really have to say, man, that b6 is possibly a real improvement. Queen e2. This is the natural square for the queen. White usually brings the pieces to the center. Rook d1, rook c1. Future Tal, I think you need the dark internet, man. That's the only place you can feel safe. Bishop b7. Nowhere safe, actually. Then you have other problems. Alright. So now I could play e4. Because knight takes e4, queen takes e4. And everything is cozy, snug as a bug in a rug. Because h4 is defended. It's with the spy plane. Alright, it's a good day for flying here in Budapest. It's really, really clear, high pressure, and no clouds in the sky. So I don't think it's a spy plane. I think they're just enjoying the weather. Bishop b7, e4 is possible now. Although maybe we want to play like rook fd1 first. Something like that. Oh man. Google controls everything. Maybe it's time now to play e4. Seriously. I mean, we gotta just sit here forever. With his queen on d8, I mean, he doesn't really want to play a c5 necessarily. And then g5 is just... g5 is suicidal. It's not direct suicide, it's like inevitable later. You know, it's a slow death for black after g5. It's not the King's Indian, man. You can't really afford to weaken your king's side like that long term. So, but for my part, I don't know. It's not that easy to blow black away here. I think e5 is interesting. Perhaps I'd like to wait until he like takes on g3. Oh well. Bishop d3 is interesting. Yeah, anybody who fears Big Brother will probably not really like the concept of Google controlling the whole internet. Now he takes g3. This is what I was waiting for. I didn't want to play e5 first, guys, because the bishop becomes a really bad piece in that instance, you know. So I wanted to wait until he took it, and then I feel much better about advancing e5 later on. Saronche, welcome. Lonely Wolf, how you doing, ma'am? Guitar player. This is kind of an important moment for me. c5. Yeah, I guess I should think about d5. Guitar player using no time, man. Where are you from, guitar player? No time. e5, pawn takes d4. Now, e5 is probably not that good. Looks like I don't have that much here. His king side is really weak, but I don't see how to... Maybe bishop d3 was a big mistake. Alright, I'm not worse, but I may not have that much. I'm going to play d5, kind of keep it under control, keep this guy a little bit dead. Guys, let's try to focus a little bit on chess here. c5, d5. I feel that I made a big mistake with bishop d3. This move was slow, and he would have never gotten in c5 if I had kept my bishop on c4. So I think that was a serious error by myself. Now we have the possibility of taking with the pawn or with the knight. Knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. Yeah, at this point he'll have to worry about this pawn, as well as his weak and king side. I mean, this king side should really give black trouble for the rest of the game. It's not that easy for me to break through, but he's going to have to worry about that forever on the white squares. Alright, dude, you're gone. How many, I don't know how many times Melorak has had accounts here, but it's really unbelievable, dude. It's like the third Melorak account that I've banned. If I even see the name again, I'm going to ban it. Yeah, I like this Fischer was right about the Jews. You know what I have in my inbox today? A picture of Bobby Fischer having dinner with Andor Lilienthal. You know, I thought that's pretty cool. Because, you know, even Fischer was conflicted. I mean, we're going to constantly use Fischer as this, like, Nazi image or something. But he didn't, you know, he didn't even know if he hated all Jews. He actually had a lot of friends who were Jews. It doesn't really work like that. You don't really know. It's not that clear. So don't use Bobby Fischer as a neo-Nazi icon. Fischer was mentally ill. Rook e8. No, it's a great picture from 1992. Bobby Fischer having dinner with Andor Lilienthal, the legendary Hungarian grandmaster. And I'm sorry I never got to meet Lilienthal because he was alive for a long time. He was the longest or the oldest living grandmaster, and not like any grandmaster. He was an iconic, you know, a guy who played in like the Soviet championships. He played with everybody over an extremely long career. Rook e8. This a6 pawn is hanging. Maybe we should grab that while we can. It's kind of greedy, but it could be important later on. So I wanted to meet Lilienthal, and I waited too long, and he eventually passed away. Not that many years ago, actually. Probably in the last 10 years at the most. Probably less than that. Can't remember. Maybe somebody can look that up. Bishop f6. Attacking my bishop. Well, I don't mind giving you back, you know, a pawn here, dude. Enraged Meat Magician. Would you mind sending a link to that picture? I'd love to see it. Can't find it when I Google it. Am I playing with viewers? Oh, Jesus, dude. This guy's mentally ill. Mobusel, you playing with viewers? Yeah, that's what we do here. I'm a little bit busy right now. White has a very powerful passed pawn. Miller 5. But how can I report somebody to I don't know, dude. The guy's got to be really ill. But it's the fourth one I banned. And maybe it's that guy who was nationalist socialist, I don't know. He had a very similar kind of modus operandi. But it would be good to find out like what his name was. We should look on Lichess and try to find out. Can ban him there too. Bishop c4. Guitar Player, you're pretty cagey, man. And what amazes me about Guitar Player is his speed. I think the most impressive thing about Guitar Player actually is his speed of play, which is very impressive. Queen f6. Guitar Player, you don't have too many games here. I mean, where's all this bullet like speed coming from? You have 17 bullet games, but you play every game like it's just the walk in the park. You have 3 minutes 45 seconds to my 25 seconds. Extremely fast. And pretty good moves. I think Guitar Player must be a very strong bullet player in another life. Block number 5. Do we have number 5 yet? And this guy's really perverted. Dude, what's the point, man? I'm just going to block every account you have. He just wants attention, guys. It's just... that's all it's about. It's really sick. No. Feeding the trolls. He has the utmost respect for me, obviously. Distracting me from being able to play. Alright. Yeah, and people like that. Guitar player there. Dude. I have 3 seconds per move for this game. It's like ridiculous. Because I'm just banning, like, I'd spend the whole game banning insane people. Can I just... Man, there's got to be something I can do. Can't the Twitch ban his ISP or something? Thanks, Dragonoid. We really need positive thoughts. Thanks for the positive thoughts. Guitar player, you're playing like a phenom. Absolute phenom. What did I just play? Queen d5. Yeah, I guess I needed to play that move. Banning the same guy 6 times. Exactly, isn't it wonderful? This is probably about equal. Actually, I have to be a little bit careful now. I'm not worse. I don't know what the guy's agenda is, to like stop me from streaming. Guitar player fixing all the pawns on dark squares doesn't seem like a really great idea, but he found this move. Which probably equalizes. Why didn't I play King G3 there? I don't know. I got distracted. Alright. This looks like a draw now. I had to play King G3. I'm an idiot. Alright. Sorry, guys. Just hard to concentrate, dude. Just really hard to concentrate with this idiot in the stream. What happened to you, chat? They're all 12-year-old all of a sudden. Well, it's not about 12-year-old. So guys, what's up? Olden Week, Dose, Harry, Max, Fisher, Bikesa. Fisher Bikesa. We're not talking about anything, man. It's just over. I had to deal with some trolls while we were playing there, guitar player, bruh. It was a little hard to concentrate. Interesting game. He played really well. But I don't like G5. So you get these trolls all day that you can't report. Yeah, it's like, forget about it. We just deal with it as best we can, but there should be some kind of recourse. It also helps how you guys react in the stream there. Old and weak. Is it raided? North Korea. Okay, that's a good joke. It's really funny. Bishop b5 now. Knight g4. Knight takes c6. Bishop takes... Maybe I can't even do knight g4 now. Knight g4. Knight takes c6. Knight takes e3. Knight takes d8. Knight takes d1. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's even good for me. Yeah, it's really funny to make an account that says it's from North Korea. And it's provisional. Maybe this is Melorak's account. I don't know. I guess you just write North Korea in your registration or something. I have no idea. Queen d2. It wouldn't surprise me if this was a computer or something, because that would fit the troll. That would fit the troll. Profile perfectly. Melorak 7 said, I already missed Melorak. So, yeah, you guys should just make like Melorak 6, Melorak 7, Melorak 8. But whoever did that, I mean, I'm actually not sure it's really the best idea here to validate the guy by, you know, reacting to him at all. Maybe it's not really a great idea. I'm going to trade pieces here. Why am I offended by it saying it's from North Korea? Because it's not from North Korea, obviously. So this player is lying about their location. In general, I'm not really down with lying about like things about your chess or anything. Just not down with like deception. You know, I don't know about you, but maybe you like it, but I don't. Queen takes d7. It's playing perfectly so far, wherever it's from. Very, very, very possibly could be an engine, but I don't know. Could be human. Strong human or engine. But it's just too easy to make a new account constantly. That's the one problem with Lichess that I don't like. It's just too easy for people to just continuously make new accounts. It's not really good. But I guess there's no way around it. I don't know. E5 instantly. Well, maybe it's not an engine. That move doesn't look right to me. D takes e5, and now at the very minimum he's killed his own bishop on this diagonal. But I'm not sure necessarily what my best reaction is here. Dude, there's no internet in North Korea. I mean, I really don't think there's any chance it's really from North Korea. I mean, come on now. F takes e5. There is a guy on ICC. I've seen several players on ICC doing the same thing, claiming they're from North Korea. You think there's free internet in North Korea? 94 here, trading pieces. After being harassed for the last half an hour by a troll, I get an opponent from North Korea. I have nothing against people from North Korea, but I have something against people being deceptive about their identity and other information. You know. If you go to account information, you can enter any location, region, or province. You can say you're from Antarctica or the International Space Station. Those are my favorites. Old and weak. So white's hanging on there. It's probably like about equal. Well, I would imagine in the ending black might be. I would say might be better, but I don't know even there. In an ending he has a queenside majority. So white is pretty solid still. He's weakened himself with h4, with e5, but black has to be careful. There is a space advantage here for white a little bit. Now he's trading queens. This pawn is kind of dangerous pawn to take. He's on my a7 pawn. That's also a dangerous pawn. So we both have dangerous pawns we could capture here. Really sure. If I trade queens, my a7 pawn is a problem. Maybe I could trade queens and play king f8. And, yeah, that looks okay. Bring my king to the center. I've got rook a8, or even bishop takes d8. Take your pick. Rook takes. The NutX, hello. CBM said, can we challenge you to a variant? The only variant I'm really willing to play is Chess 960. And Satis Troll wasn't here today, so we're due for our daily Chess 960 if you want to play that. What about playing knight b3 check before taking on d7 with the queen earlier? You know, I didn't even consider that. That's a great idea. King b1. I don't really see any point in rook a4, something like that. We'll just go back. Could play rook a5. I guess I'm gonna keep the distance. Old and weak. Doesn't seem old and weak to me. Maybe old, but he doesn't seem really weak. But putting your pawns on the white squares would be probably better with the bishop on dark squares. I imagine that white should be able to hold this. Maybe he's not even worse. I mean, actually, still this pawn is on the wrong color and it's fixed there, but at the same time it is. Maybe rook d8. What should I do here? I don't know. Pin his bishop. Play f5 or f6. Maybe f5. f6. f6 doesn't really do anything. I'm not sure I achieved anything here. Alright, I'm going to lose on time if I'm not careful. Yeah, I guess rook d8 didn't really do anything. It looks pretty equal. That was probably not necessarily my best move, but things could get kind of sharp in this ending here with opposite side majorities. Wow. Actually, now b5 maybe. Golden Week is playing too quickly. Just play too quickly. We need that F pawn. Alright. Trust in my suicide. Guys, did anybody drop their challenges? Christopher M, if you want to play Chess 960, just make the time control a little bit shorter. If you could replace that challenge with something like 8 minutes, 3-second increment or faster. Because 10-0, I don't really do longer than 8 minutes. Like Harry Max here challenged me to 8-3. Trust in my suicide. We played yesterday, and it was kind of a weird game. I was black in that game too. Let's play a Caro. Caro? The Nut X said he didn't sleep last night. I'm sorry about that, man. It's not fun. It's not fun having insomnia and being tired all the time. Or you didn't sleep for some other reason, like you just stayed up all night partying or something. Not usual on a Monday night, but who knows? I guess this is the book recommendation. Taking and playing like a Caro with the pawn on f4. And he turns it into something like a closed Sicilian with g3. Which is very reasonable. Black is fully equalized, I guess. Bishop e6 is an interesting move. I'm not so sure though if I really like it. Bishop g4. Bishop e6. Well, let's try something creative. The Nutex said he had summer holidays. He could not sleep since he slept in the evening before. Yeah, you're just not tired enough, probably. I don't know. Oh, man. Melorak 7, you're not the real Melorak. Maybe Bishop d5 is a mistake here. But we'll live with it. Melorak's like so confused, you know, he's trying to like make that account and it won't let him and he doesn't understand why. Poor guy. How do we want to take back here? I guess queen takes is solid. The most solid recapture. White has a lot of pawn weaknesses here. I thought instead of bishop takes d5, you should do knight f3. But, you know, what is the plan then for White? To play c4, he would weaken his dark squares considerably. So I'm not sure the best way for White to play there. Probably just knight f3 and kind of hang out and see what happens. We have... Guys, we have 2 weeks and I'm going to take a few days off at the end of the month. And I'm going to have a 3 or 4 day holiday in Boston. I'm originally not from Boston, but I lived in Boston for 15 years, so I'm going to be going to Boston for a couple days to visit with some peoples there and have a holiday for a few days. And then the 1st of July, I'm going to be back streaming, well, around the 1st of July, I'm not sure, maybe in around there, streaming American time, probably in the evenings, 7 or 8 Eastern time. So you European guys, if you want to watch the stream, you're going to have to stay up late. You're going to have to learn to stay up late. Saji, do I check my Twitch whispers? Guitar player, bruh. Yeah, I don't like to use the Twitch whispers so much. I mean, if you have a Lee Chess account, send me a message on there. I occasionally check the Twitch whispers, but I don't use it very much, so it's not the best way to contact me in private. You can send me an email, guys, if you want to. videochesstrainer@gmail.com. You can especially send me an email if you're interested in chess training or some other project. Also looking for teams to play for in Europe. If you guys have a team that needs a player anywhere in the European continent, let me know. Reasonable rates. You always check if you're a guy. What? Or are you talking about future tile? My queen doesn't have a great square in this position. Maybe f5? Though I don't like my b7 pawn. I guess a5 will do. We'll do center counter style. But why does everybody like queen d8 in the center counter now? Why would that be better than queen a5? I really don't understand. Guys, just keep making like Melorak all the way up to like Melorak 99, and the guy won't be able to make any new accounts. Bishop d2, queen b6 check, I guess. I'm not trying to grab this pawn. I just, you know, don't want to open like the B line for him to attack me. Just kind of trying to preserve a tempo. Trust in my suicide though. He has a reasonable position, but he does have a lot of long-term weaknesses. So he has to be careful. It looks like he's got some control of the center, but this file in particular, the backwardness along the D file is really awkward for White to have to manage. Future Tal is 2 days old. This is true, I think. Guys, let me know if any challenges dropped. Kryptone is here. I'd like to play him because I missed his challenge yesterday. Dos. Harry Max is a strong player, guys, from Lithuania. So he actually shared his rating with me, and he's legitimate. We had a game the other day where he won a pawn, but he gave me a draw, or let me draw, maybe not willingly. And he's 2300, guys, so that's going to be fun to play with him. Rook c1, and we're going to go for the D file. Got to watch out for bishop a5 now that I've set up my rook and queen in this wonderful alignment here. We've got better king safety, less weaknesses, and fairly active pieces, no bad pieces. White has a more open king, more pawn weaknesses. So we're liking black, but white still has some chances. Guys, check out my videos on YouTube if you want to. Video Chess Training is the name of my channel. No new video yet this week, but there will be one probably tomorrow or Thursday. I'm going to annotate another complete game that I played. Kind of focusing on the games I've lost lately. 95. This makes sense, right? He's defending d3. It's a very powerful knight. There's different things I could do here. First interesting move for black, excuse me, would be bishop b4. And you might say, well, what does that do? Well, I think that it's interesting because he has a lot of like long-term weaknesses on the dark squares. That's one possibility. The second possibility is to just straight up trade his knight off, you know, which is, I think, totally legit. Only black can be better here. And we're threatening to eliminate the best piece on the board. It may not look really exciting, guys, but you know what? You know, sometimes simplicity is best. It happens in poker too. A lot of times, like, people do these fancy plays when, like, the best thing to do would be just to do the simple thing. When the guy has as many pawn weaknesses as this on the board, it's not necessary to get involved in like really like abstract, complicated type of strategies. I mean, I think the simplest approach is to just like target the weaknesses and win. I mean, there's no reason we have to like get involved in some complex tactics here. So still this idea, again, you know, trading pieces looks pretty good. Maybe I take on e5 first. Bishop takes e5. And now, for our next trick, he does have a strong bishop, but it's probably not enough in and of itself. A little concerned, though. He has some counterplay now with queen g4. Bishop c5, queen g4. g6. f5. Pawn takes f5, rook takes f5, bishop d4. He has... Yeah, that actually looks okay to me. I could play f6 at some moment too. That might just kill his counterplay. Although it may be too late to do that now. Probably have to stick to my guns here, and stick to my guns and play at g6. f6 no longer possible. Trust in my suicide. I hope this isn't rated. Sorochi said, could be interesting to watch new people challenge you. Yeah, it's going to be like a totally different... I think there'll be more players, probably. Not just because it's in the United States, but because it's in the evening. The other thing, though, that's a problem is that I'm sure there'll be, like... I'll probably be streaming when there are other streamers, so maybe we won't have as big an audience as we could. But we'll try to tweak it as best we can and get as many, you know, viewers as I can. But g6... So he's going to do like queen g5, try to mate me, but I have bishop d4. And I already looked at this, you know, like queen g5, bishop d4, queen f6, queen takes b2 check is really nasty because he doesn't have rook f2 or rook c2. So I'm just cleaning out a pawn and winning while defending everything. This looks monstrous for black. Just simple chess. It's just sometimes not necessary. You know, I don't think white did the best there. I don't know what he was supposed to do, but simple chess. And now I need to hold the d4 square. I guess rook d4. He's got two weaknesses. Well, actually more. I mean, if you consider the king a weakness, and you consider all these pawns weaknesses, then he's got, you know, a whole family of weaknesses. And this really happened right out of the chute. I mean, what did he do? I mean, f4 in the opening with g3 and then c4. And it's been a really difficult defense for white, basically the entire game, as a result of that. So maybe I'll throw in a5 and to get a grip on the dark squares. Maybe I'm not even winning. I mean, it's possible white can defend, but it looks difficult to do. Not sure about my queen position. A little hard to get in there. This will keep him tied down to e5. Not that easy to break through, but it's even harder for white to do something. If there are more streamers, I'll be able to play simuls with them. Simuls? What do you mean? Like, you mean like play them? Matches? Like we could play, yeah, sure. I mean, I can do, you mean, yeah, okay, king h3. That's how desperate white is here. Just in case I want to triple at some point, I played this. Maybe like queen b6 and queen d8. h5. h5 was a move I was planning for a while. Now a4 is interesting. It's a little hard to break through here, as you can see. a4 is definitely an option. Try to worsen his structure. In some lines I might even push the pawn to a3. The rook on d7 protects both b7 and f7. So it's a really good defender. And now what? Queen takes a4? Man, I just missed like rook takes c4 last move. Kind of bummed about that. I really missed that last move. I don't know what choice I have here. Trust in my suicide. Mystery player. He's defending this pretty much as well as it can be done. Future Tao, see you later. I need to create other weaknesses. Why Carlsen wins. This is kind of Carlsen style. I mean, I don't mean to be like, I'm Carlsen, I'm as good as Carlsen or something like that, guys. But this is kind of Carlsen style game. At least that's how he played against me. You get the feeling you're playing like an 80-year-old grandmaster with the best endgame technique in the world. Well, tie him down. Might have h4 at some point. Okay, now we're in we're in a different place now. It looks like his king is really vulnerable here. I'm letting him take on b7. On c4, his king is weak, weaker than mine. Threatening rook d2. But he's got this threat on f7. Holy mommy. That's nasty, dude. Now if I do king h7, I get mated. The guy is not 1400. I don't know what the deal is with his rating. What is 1400? That's not a real rating, dude. We've got very, very difficult queen ending. Probably this is a draw. This is like what he did yesterday. He just like lost on time. Was that it? He lost on time? No, yesterday he was gonna lose a piece. Okay. I don't know. Queen takes c6, queen g4 check, king g2, queen e2 check, king h3. I could play for a mate with g5 there. So maybe he actually has to go to the back rank when I check him on e2. Queen takes c6, g5. Queen takes c6, queen g4 check, king g2, queen e2 check, king g1. And I'm not sure if I can win there. I mean, he has a dangerous pair of outside pawns, so I'm not really sure. Oh, I took Dose's challenge. Harry Max, actually. Harry, if you hang out, man, your challenge dropped. I don't know if you mentioned it in the stream, but if you guys lose your challenge, Harry, like, let me know, because I didn't notice at the first moment. And I know that you were challenged me. You were next in line, so if you can hang out to play the next game, when you get disconnected from the internet, from Lichess for a moment, it's like disconnecting you on the list. Sorry guys, I don't know, my acid reflux or something is giving me hiccups. Harry Max is like, okay, he's cool. So just let me know on the Twitch stream if you lose your place in the challenge list. Well, you probably don't know unless I click on it. That should be a feature they work into the site. John Capone says he was equal. Yeah, kind of easy to see that with Stockfish or something. But over the board, there's a chance that there's some way to mate him or something. But he defended really cagily, if I can say that. Rook e1. Man, I'm getting a lot of these guys. Everybody's playing this weird type of stuff. I never get a theoretical line. It's so weird. You guys need to spend more time with the opening books, because I never get to play any kind of like sharp Sicilian games. It's always some kind of dry bishop b5, bishop c4, sort of semi-closed type of line. Fischer Bixa lost his challenge too. Well, actually, you're still second in line. Maybe you were ahead of Kryptone, but I don't remember. You're right there, man. I mean, I'm going to play all those guys. White is even better now. Yeah, that's theoretically. Yeah, if I don't act quickly, I hate these kind of positions. Really, I'm pulling my hair out. What did I play? I played d6 on move 2, so I tried to avoid this. Bishop b5, but then he played knight c3. Yeah, I guess if I want to avoid the Rossalimo, I should avoid playing knight c6 right away. Maybe knight f6 first and see what happens there. But anyway, it's not really the most dangerous form of the Rossalimo, the bishop b5 against the Sicilian. With knight on c3, theoretically, it's not as dangerous as like c3, d4 type of setups. Some people play sharp browser lines against your Sicilian strategy. Hisitnunc said, yeah, but they seem to be so few and far between, Hisitnunc, and not very much lately. There was a time when we had quite a few, but lately it doesn't seem like very many at all. The same thing happened in Zalakaros. Everybody avoided playing the Sicilian, except for one like really dry G3 dragon. I didn't get a single sharp Sicilian. So, as I mentioned earlier, guys, if you're interested in training or lessons, I've got to make a living. So, I'm a chess teacher, full-time now, and player, but we can't really play tournaments for a living. So, give me an email, videochesstrainer@gmail.com. If you're interested in lessons, you can give it a try. Otherwise, if you don't have any money to pay for lessons, you can check out my videos on Video Chess Training on YouTube. Not as popular as King Crusher yet, but hopefully people will see the way. 92. Speaking of Google Analytics, I need to learn how to make my YouTube videos go viral. 92, it's tempting to play e5, d5 here. I think I need to make a break for it at some point. He's transferring over to the king's side. Will he have some kind of an attack? You know, a useful prophylactic move for me might be bishop b7, because if I ever go d5, white might have knight e5 with tempo. Another interesting move would be like c4. Try to just kind of open up the position a little bit. Let's play this. I don't know if you guys know the Grandmaster Tomasz Gelashvili, but he beat me with black in a game a couple years ago with a kind of similar position where he just played this rock solid setup and traded off my bishop with bishop f6, and I felt his power. It was like, he's a really good strategic player. Twice I lost to Gelashvili. Years ago in Germany, and then again 15 years later. Play more bullet for more views. Yeah, that's kind of true, maybe. The bullet chess, people like it. Challenging for chess videos to go viral. Well, I mean, you can pay. I'm sure there's. I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but you take like the Chess Center of St. Louis. Has a lot of views of their YouTube, but I mean, you know, you've got a billionaire sponsoring that whole operation, so it's very possible they like pay to have their videos promoted or whatever. But anyway, that's just pure speculation on my part. Bishop f6. But we appreciate if just a few of you guys like and comment the videos. Dose is letting his structure go here. Not recommended, man. I mean, I didn't have any counterplay, really, and now you've given yourself an isolated pawn on c4. I think that's really unnecessary. Now black has a very comfortable position. Threatening e5, being a pawn up. So don't get any fancy ideas of knight h5 or anything like that. That would be a permanent investment. Enraged Meat Magician, he said the chess subreddit is so negative and awful. All they do is downvote and shame players for not being perfect. It kind of reminds me of like poker forums, you know, where all people do is like just shame people and yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm talking about knight h5. There it is, staring me in the face. What am I going to do about it? No. Just say no to knight h5. Yeah, I don't even post on like poker forums because there's so many trolls and people are so negative, and all they have to say are like absolutely negative things about everything, make fun of everyone for everything, and it's like I wouldn't even go to like the 2+2 forum anymore after a while. It was so hopelessly filled with negative people. So I'm sure that I'm talking about the same kind of thing here. Go for ICC top 10. Well, not in bullet, that's for sure. I was probably in the top 20 in 5-minute pool at some point, but not really recently. I was in the best list in 5-minute. That was probably 10 years ago. Queen d2. Let's talk about the c4 pawn. He's still trying to set up stuff on the king's side. Talk about the c-pawn. I don't think I'm getting mated anytime soon. I mean, what are you going to do? Oh, it reminds me of a game where Victor Erdos, Grandmaster, was playing in Zalakaros, and this guy with the white side of a Roy Lopez just out of nowhere ruined his day with this knight f5. An unexpected knight f5 sacrifice is always an unpleasant surprise. But I think we've got it covered. I mean, any knights coming to f5 are getting captured by my e-pawn. Got bishop g5. That doesn't look like the right idea, though. Although I could induce him to weaken his pawns. f4 might not be such a bad thing for white here. We got a good game. Make another waiting move. Your turn. You may think that's a strange move, but I mean, I might use the b file at some point. I don't want it to be hanging. I don't like hanging pieces. LPDO. That's sort of phobic. He played f4 anyway voluntarily. That's fine. We have a lot of one-move threats that don't do anything. Although e5 really asking him to sack a piece there. But still. E5, knight f5, pawn takes f5, knight takes f5. I mean, are you serious? I don't think so. I don't think he can sack a piece there. So I think he's going to have to move his knight. But I'm not sure if this was right or not. Kind of hedgehog type of strategy by me. I really need the rook on e8. Then we would have the full hedgehog effect with like massive pressure on e4. Mihai Suba style. Viral videos do countdowns. Good idea. Top 10 worst blunders. The point was to take here. It hits a piece, and everything's covered. Uh-oh. Interesting game. Alright, now carefully, we're going to play Harry Max. Then I think we're relatively... Oh, Nejela Buta's here, an old friend of mine. Nejela Buta, don't be stupid. Harry Max. Harry played with me the other day. Uh-oh, C3 Sicilian. Oh, man. He's been studying my statistics on ChessBase or something, because against the C3 Sicilian, I think it's one of my worst openings in terms of win-loss ratio. What's that? Chess coaches hate him? Guitar player, bruh? What are you talking about? I'm gonna have to concentrate. I have to concentrate. Harry's a good player. Yeah. Alright, knight f6. You can't really go wrong with that move. Although I've been playing g6 a lot, guys. It's not the greatest line because it's dead diagonal. It's a dead diagonal for the bishop on g7. But it does give you a safe king side. The thing I like about g6 is that white never checkmates you in one of these c3 Sicilian, like, isolated queen pawn type positions. I'm one of the first. I'm actually the player who popularized this move, bishop f5. I have to say, it's become a really trendy line. I didn't play it first, but about 7, 8 years ago, I had a couple of games, and I kind of like brought this variation into popularity with a few games in the database. But I have to give credit to Luis Gallego, I think, who probably played it back like around 1990. And I noticed that, I probably noticed that, although maybe I thought of it myself, I don't remember. But I'm a little afraid now. There's a lot of theory on bishop f5. It's become a kind of trendy line. Lots of strong players have been playing that, just because it's like a new idea. Alright, I'm only going to play this setup because we were looking at it in Zalakaros. So it's like the main line, and it's very solid for black, but it's not real exciting. But over the board here, I need to come up with something, and Harry Max said he always plays c3 Sicilian. I'm just kidding, man. I know nobody's preparing for me. Unless you're one of the regulars who plays me every day. There have been a few people who actually would like prepare games. Bishop e3. So, I mean, this is main line, and what am I going to do? Take the best out of other video creators. Good idea. King Crusher. Make your own creation. I have a better voice. So knight c6. Well, I've been doing this for a long time. Not like streaming, but I did chess commentary on ICC for like 5 years, and I've been doing videos forever, you know. So I have a lot more experience than most like YouTube chess YouTubers overall. Knight c3, bishop b4 is an interesting line. Bishop e4, bishop d3, castle, castle, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, b6. Let's try that. I mean, I've played this I haven't played this in a serious game, but it's a line. This actually may be the way that Kasparov played with black against deep blue. I'm not 100% sure about the move order. Now, Harry Mack said he plays c3 Sicilian a lot, and now he played queen c2. And I'm thinking, like, what's up with that move? Because he doesn't have to defend anything there. I don't remember queen c2 in my my very brief preparation. This may be some kind of secret move that the really knowledgeable c3 Sicilian players play. Yeah, I think the point is... No, I don't know what the point is. Maybe the point is to play like bishop d3 really quickly with pressure on h7, and then at some point play bishop g5, like take on f6 and take on h7 with check or something. I don't know. Or maybe he doesn't know it that well. I don't know. I don't know it that well. Maybe he's just afraid of knight e4, but he shouldn't be. I would imagine bishop d3. He says he remembers two theory said queen c2. I'm sure that it's a perfectly good move. It might be the best move. I'm just not remembering like seeing that was the main move, but it might be. What can I do here now? b6. It's another thing. I mean, along the c file, he has some stuff. Let's think about b6. No reason why I can't play b6, is there? I mean, this is the main plan. When you do this setup for black, where you don't move your queen, and you play bishop b4, you're gonna try to develop this guy real actively. Now he played a3. Took with the queen. I didn't see that coming. But objectively, black should be good here, I would think. Normally I would see pawn takes and he would play with the hanging pawns. He just took there with the queen. I would think I'm good now. He's got bishop c4. Shouldn't really be a big deal. Bishop c4, is it? Maybe. Is bishop c4 a problem? Well, there's no harm in playing bishop b7 first, just in case. I don't have to castle right away. Maybe this gives us more options by reinforcing c6 first. We have more options. Kind of using my time here, guys. Yeah, Kappa Claus is real. He doesn't want to have hanging pawns, but the thing is, I think, you know, with this type of structure, that's really White's only chance. Because if he doesn't take the hanging pawns, it's really hard to open the game for the bishops, you know, and then it's hard for him to use his bishop pair, you know, profitably. So that's the real question. Where to put the queen? Queen d6. Looks like a normal square. Could be dangerous. Is it really dangerous? Well, bishop f4 follows later on at some point. But I think that's the right square. We've got a good structure, and if White doesn't, you know, keep me busy, he's going to have long-term issues. Black will at least have equality, with all my pieces being good and just a better structure. semi-open position. The bishops are pretty good. Most of the games I saw involved like bishop g5, bishop takes f6, and it was like equal or something like that. I mean, rook c8. This is an awkward situation for you on the c file. And he just, ooh. This is almost too good to be true. I feel like knight a5. Black's got to be at least equal here. But we're getting a little bit low on time. Yeah, this is... It's like a really good Chigorin or something for black. This monstrous piece now on the long diagonal. Future Tao, you said you were leaving. Yeah, I think we go with knight takes c4, rook takes c4, bishop a6, rook takes c8. Oh man, that's too many rooks, right? Too many rooks. No. Take, bishop a6, rook takes c8, bishop takes d3, rook takes, king takes. That's a technical win for me, I guess. Knight takes, rook takes, bishop a6, rook takes c8, bishop takes d3, rook takes, king takes, rook takes d3. Sure, if I had anything better. Moved a bit too fast. Yeah, you've got plenty of time. You're probably not used to playing this longer increment games. It takes a while to get used to it. If you're playing sudden death blitz. Maybe I should take with the queen on f8 if he goes that way, because I don't want to get skewered with bishop d2, bishop b4. He resigned. Alright, you're a gentleman, sir. Thank you for the game. It looks like we're back in order. Like, Fishabika. How do we pronounce this? Fishbika. Fishbiksa. I'm going to play some d4. How's my neck doing? Well, it actually feels fine when I'm sitting or standing up. But the problem is when I lay down or like lean on my arm laying down trying to read a book or something like that. I've got a really, really vicious pillow. I need to buy like a normal pillow or something. But it's probably some... It's a long story. I have an extra vertebra in my back, and maybe I told the story once, I'm not sure, but it's not really very common. They like sent an MRI to the University of, or like Caltech or something, and they were surprised when my doctor said they found I had the extra vertebra. Pretty uncommon. But it causes all kinds of weird stuff. Like if you have any like small anomaly in your spine, it's probably causing a chain reaction. That's why I have neck pain now. But mostly it's not too bad. Thanks for asking. I was just talking about Fishabika, not here. Alright, I'm going to abort this. And we're going to move down the list. Lonely Wolf. Lonely Wolf, we didn't play today, right? But I just mentioned it the other day because Brian Smith was talking about it in Zalakarosh. He apparently has really, really bad neck pain, that to the point where it was like agonizing and he couldn't play almost. And then I was suggesting that maybe mine was psychosomatic. Because if you hear someone talking about something, then suddenly you have the illness, you know? But I really did. As soon as he started talking about it, it started bothering me. But I think mine is just caused by some genetic mutation. Lizard men have learned chess. I'm more like more a fan of the gray aliens myself. Not really. I don't really believe in the lizard reptilians. I don't have a tail. Somewhere in the middle of my spine. My doctor was... I thought I had like a tumor or something, because I have very, very heavy muscle development. And it was like in one part of my back. Like there's a point where the muscles are more developed. And when I went to get an MRI, they're like, you don't have a tumor or anything. This is like muscle here. And they were like, what's that? You know? And it's an extra vertebra. It's pretty rare. But it never bothered me my whole life until I was like 25, and then I just had this alien muscle in my back. So you're just playing e6 and you're not even trying to hold on to that pawn, Lonely Wolf. So disappointing. Well, queen takes c4 would probably transpose to some kind of standard stuff. And e4 would also most likely transpose to the Geller Gambit version of the pawn triangle, which is something I used to play. I used to have a lot of fun playing that. But the stronger players, when you try to play this e4 against the pawn triangle, I started to have trouble. Well, anyway, let's just play a move. What's my height? I should be 2 inches shorter. Well, maybe an inch. I don't know how much it counts for. I'm like 5'11.5", just under 6 feet. I should really be like 5'10.5", maybe. Just kidding. I don't know. No, I don't know if it works like that. Alright, so we're just going to kind of transpose to one of my home-baked pawn sacrifice variations here. We always have some sort of compensation. I was actually afraid to play this at the Zalakaros tournament. I had one or two opponents who played the Slav, Saba Attila and Rarakamska, both played the Slav, and both I could have maybe tried to get into this line. No, I take that back, because against Saba Attila I would have probably gone into this, but he didn't take the pawn on c4. In the last round, I played knight f3, d5, g3 against Rarakamska because I thought that was my best chance, but ended up getting no advantage anyway. A little slow, Lonely Wolf, but interesting, because you're coming to f4. And that means that my bishop's going to be attacked if I try to develop it here. That's really uncool. h4 is an interesting move for white. You could go with the flow. We're getting creative, guys. That's one of my problems, maybe, that I'm too cautious. Only wolf with h5. But anyway, my plan was to play g3 anyway. I think this pawn on h5 might turn out to be a liability for you down the line. Much more so than mine on h4. My guy is protected by a pawn. Your guy is not. And then bishop g2 or bishop d3 or bishop e2 are all possible here. Bishop e2 is nice because it would attack pawn in question. Bishop g2 looks the most natural. Bishop d3 would maybe hit that knight on g6. But I don't really think that's going to happen. If I ever play e5, he's probably going to pull it back to e7. I mean, it seems natural to play bishop g2, but you know, I mean, I don't really believe that I need the fianchetto here. I mean, this might be useful on e2. They're hitting that, also keeping an eye on b5. So I'm going to keep my bishop in the center. As I said, I mean, bishop g2 is interesting, but it looks kind of dead at the moment, and I'm not sure it's ever going to really get a lot of life there. Queen takes is actually theoretically explored. Yeah, I mean, queen takes, you mean queen takes c4? Is that what you're talking about? Queen takes c4 must transpose to like a totally standard variation of the queen c2 Slav. I need to sit down one day and do a lot of work on this line. The late great Alexander Wojtkiewicz, my buddy. He is a good guy. Kind of grumpy. Like, he was grumpy, but he was a great person. He was so tremendous. Like, any kind of Catalan or Queen C2 Slav. Great repertoire with white. And with black, too. He was a huge Najdorf expert. Played. Oh, man. If you want to look at a great repertoire, you could do worse than Wojtkiewicz. But definitely he's one of the best Queen C2 players I've ever seen. Alright, now I've got to watch my d4 pawn, so I guess it's time to complete the development, so to speak. Not a routine position. We are down a pawn. But we have nice center and some prospects. Kappa clause is real. Well, I don't know about the best square for my bishop, but I know that I need to connect my rooks, and it's never really easy because sometimes this diagonal is good. It's also possible to play bishop a3 in this line sometimes and trade off his dark squared bishop, but I don't think this position is really the right time for that. Uh-oh. Somebody noticed something. But I tipped him off earlier. Still, what are you going to do about that? Doesn't look like black has a lot of counterplay. I mean, my center is protected. I'm better developed than black here. Gotta believe. Interesting. It looks like Lonely Wolf. Well, no, I'm gonna go for this. This looks a little greedy, but you know, if that pawn falls, it's big trouble for black. I mean, he's not dead or anything. He's got counterplay on the queen side, I guess. It's a game. I feel like I'm better developed than he is with my rook on d1. Lonely Wolf, this is your second account? You had another Lonely Wolf account. You're really going to sleep, man? Fisher Bixa, sorry about not making a move. We're called and I had to answer. No problem. You can jump back in the line. You're in there. So we'll take your challenge. I lost Nejelabuta. Nejelabuta, are you here? Did your challenge drop? Just re-challenge, man. I didn't play with Nejelabuta for a long time. My inclination is so funny. I mean, you would think like most people would rip this knight on g6, but my instinct is to come back. Yeah, because I mean, I smash his pawns. Maybe it's winning. Yeah, I guess I should have done it. Okay, I take and play e5 there. I win a pawn. But I thought his knight is so horrible. I like don't even want to win that pawn. Could drive his knight back. Potentially attack on the king's side. We have this bishop on b2 that could open up. Hopefully. It might be hard to force it. Hard to force it to open up. Now what do I do now? Not that easy. G4. G4 looks a little over the top. I don't know what to do, guys. Equal material. We've got a kingside initiative. Knight f3, knight takes h5, knight e5, knight f6, knight takes c6. Queen c7, knight takes c7, knight takes c6, rook c8. Knight takes d8, rook takes c2, knight takes b7, rook takes b2. My god, what a variation that is. You guys can see how long variations we can calculate, you know. For example, I'm looking at my knight going across the board to everywhere. What about king g2? It looks like putting the king on that diagonal is kind of questionable. Alright, I gotta make a decision here. Time is running out. Decided for a shift in queen position. A4. Alright. I think now I need to really go to blockade mode. Alright, at the moment his pawn isn't going anywhere. So, I guess I could play this. This was like a square that looked good to me. I also wanted to not let him do that, you know, like with tempo, basically. Alright, so bishop a6. But that's interesting. Maybe I let him keep that piece on the board. Keep h5 guarded. Keep the kingside threats alive. h6. No, he's threatening. He's threatening that, so I should probably blockade. Okay. Everything's okay. We have kingside threats. Keeping everything together. It was debatable what to do about that bishop. Now his bishop turned out to be a really monstrous defender on b5. But I thought that black has a lot of weaknesses on the dark squares. Al-Sakir, welcome. Some low volume music on the stream. Okay, if you guys have suggestions about like what music we could put, a little background music. I know that Twitch has, I mean, I'm aware that there's like, you know, copyright free music that we can put on, like Spotify or whatever. I mean, I'm open to it. I love music, but I just wasn't sure, you know, what the general consensus is. All right, knight h7, keeping me off of g5. I don't know, guys. Wow. e5, suddenly. What am I going to do about that? No, nothing to do, right? Knight b3. I can play knight b3. Knight c4 is not on. Not sure what's going on here. Very complicated position. This move probably was a mistake. We are in kind of vicious time pressure, though. Wanted to kind of confuse him a little bit. My knight obviously not really well placed to d2. Alright. Knight c5. That was the point. Going after the a pawn. Well, he's got knight g5. Whoa. What is going on here? He's on my knight. Goodness. Now I've got to be careful. Holy shamoles. It's like only move. Only move. 96. Like f4, rook c3. Oh man. I have to take. What? I have knight takes f4. Lonely Wolf played like a genius, man. I'd like to see that game. I mean, we both made some mistakes, but man, at the end, why did you flag? Mineland, Afarensis, and Neja Labuta. But Fish Bika I have to play first. Well, those 4 games we can probably get in. He lost on time, probably with a winning position. Got a little bit... I should have played h6 at some moment. I made a serious error there. Now, I wimped out and played the English opening. I just reverted to my fearful self. We're having relationship counseling in the stream. Okay, now why not c5 here? Fish Bika from Sweden. Wow, the blitz rating is quite high. This is classical, this is blitz. Okay, blitz. I think I've had this position before. I'm not convinced that it's that much for white, but I like trading toward the center. So we get a real Igazi in Hungarian, Igazi Sicilian, you might say. Thinking about bishop g5. Okay, it's blitz. I really wanted to play b3, but he's got e4, which would really put the question, I think, to b3. I suppose I could have done this right away. Just knight d2 without bishop g5. But it's okay. Maybe we can induce a slight weakening in black's position. I'm not sure if this is... Maybe it's a positive move. It's probably a useful move for black. But this is a blitz game. 5-3. This is the fastest I'll play on the stream, guys. Knight b6. Extremely annoying move. I don't really have much here. I don't have anything. This is probably equal. Black has a weird setup. Queen on c7, knight on b6. But my pieces are passive as well, so I'm basically playing like an accelerated dragon. With colors reversed. But I didn't like the other options there. Perhaps I could have played b3. But it really blocks the queen in on d1 if I do that. Yeah, that's best move. Okay, it's just an ordinary blitz game. I guess a5. You could go back to knight c4 again. I don't know why the church bells are ringing. Is today some holiday or something? I wasn't aware maybe it's a Hungarian holiday. I'm out of touch. The other possibility was knight c4. And now at least I have a square for my queen. Was the concept, I guess. This was the concept. We don't have a lot of space. I like the way black played this. Pawn takes is possible too, but I don't know about this. We've got this bishop, we've got this guy here. Now he's offering a pawn. I think I can just take it. It's too good to believe. Some kind of trap, maybe. I don't see the trap. I think that Fischer is like just trying to move fast and maybe overlooked a7. But it's far from over because I snuck a pawn there. He's still very well organized. We could have also taken on d5 first. Maybe that was easier. Probably I could have played knight takes d5 and then bishop takes a7. It's a little more simple, I guess. Someone got married at 12 o'clock. You're probably right, sir. But I guess mostly they do the weddings like traditionally on Saturday or something. I don't know. Alright. I don't notice normally every day. Bishop takes a7. Fish because slowing down dramatically. I didn't really mean to play the English. I've been kind of in a d4 kind of mood. So guys, I think tomorrow we're going to put up a new video on the YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe and like Video Chess Training on YouTube. You can also support the stream with my GoFundMe page, which is on the Twitch info, but it's not really going to be working until the 1st of July. So hold on to your money and please support the stream after the 1st of July. It also supports my YouTube work and the stream here. So Queen d7. c5. Looks like a residential square. I don't really like my bishop on a7. Quite the target. Undefended bishop on a7. Not ideal. Oh, it's rated. I didn't even notice. Thanks, guys. I don't mind rated, just as long as I know one way or the other, but I didn't realize. I try to play the same no matter what. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but we try to treat all games the same. Knight takes e5. Not a good moment for that here, I guess. Wonder. a6 at some point. Chipping away at his structure would be cool. I'm a little bit worried about this bishop on c5. I mean, what is it really doing? Queen e4, interesting. This kind of classic accelerated dragon square for the queen. You're going to fianchetto the queen. It looks like a weird move, but it's really pretty standard. So bishop f5. Well, in that case, maybe I do like queen c4. Compromise. Keep controlling the center. Now knight f6. He avoids the exchange of pieces. Probably would have been best to play a6 right away. Knight e4. Controlling e4 square, looking for c5 maybe? Trading pieces is okay, since I'm up a pawn. He goes bishop e6. Okay, it's not a really huge. Knight c5, bishop takes c4, knight takes d7, not good. All right. Threatening to threaten. Although knight c5, man, that's a really nasty knight. Bishop f5. Okay, let's keep keep controlling the center with everything we've got. Knight d7. Probably have to take. Bishop takes. Duplessis. Somebody's reminding me of our friend Chess Quack. Full Chess Quack style. Alright, let's shift. Bishop g4. Alright, GG. Tough game. Guys, I didn't notice, but Afarensis has to challenge me to something like not longer than 8 minutes, okay? Please. So, Afarensis, if you want to play, challenge me to something like 8 minutes with an increment. Something between 5 and 8 minutes with an increment. Nela Jabuta, hey, what's up, man? One of my Hungarian buddies here. Guys, we have time for 2 or 3 more games. Francis, please change that challenge. You can keep your place in the line, but Nela Jabuta, I don't know if he's here. Good luck, man. Fishabika. Shevadinga, welcome to the stream. I didn't notice you were here. Sorry, I was really... They were talking about totally a non-chess topic. I wasn't paying attention. Nela Jabuta plays the Benoni. The Benoni. What are we going to do? Real Benoni. Modern Benoni. Let's make it a King's Indian. A6. So I used to play the same-ish a lot with Bishop G5 against the King's Indian, and that's what this is now. Nela Jabuta H6. I might have had this... Ooh, King H7. You don't need to play that. I think there are tactics. Rook E8 was probably a game I played against Jay Bonin maybe like 20 years ago. Because if I play Bishop takes H6, you have Knight takes E4 and Queen H4 check, and Queen takes H6, and there's a lot of theory actually. I think King H7 is a bad move because your king is vulnerable there, and anytime you try to play like F5 later, if you try to do that kind of setup. I could also go postal and try to play like G4, H5, but I don't think it's It's really the safest plan. Now we have a choice. There's a lot of squares this knight could go to. Maybe c1, f4, and g3. f4 interesting. Alright. Well, I'm a fan of knight g3. I mean, with the king on h7, it's going to be hard for him to do the normal kind of plan effectively, because the king should be like on g8 or like maximally h8. No advertising? What is that? Polish chess discussion. The Weekly Challenge Cup. We'll let it slide. Sadly, I think tonight is the only evening I can attend as I play chess local club. Alright. So Nella Jabuta, you know, the normal plan in these kind of positions is for black. I don't like it. It's a plan. I shouldn't say it's the normal plan. It's a plan to do active kingside play. But I've never really liked it for black because it always feels like Boris Golko or somebody is going to like exploit your weakened pawn structure and your kingside attack is a fantasy. There are other ways for black to play in these kind of positions, maybe on the queen side. So, but I don't like the king on h7. I think it's vulnerable there. His move order wasn't optimal, but still it should be a playable position for black. He's going to have to be a little creative. Queen e7 looks like a normal kind of Benoni move. I have to watch along the e-file, any kind of tricks. But I don't see anything special. So we'll just continue. White has a better structure, and there basically will arise a situation maybe later on where white, will play b4 and chip away at black's control of the center. So this is pretty standard so far. But I think, again, this whole inclusion of king h7, h6 is debatable. Alright, rook b8, and then we have to decide how we want to do this on the queen side. He's not threatening b5 yet. Rook a3 is kind of a move that often gets played in these kind of positions. Usually when black does like queen a5. But it's a good like river guarding rook. I'm not sure it's necessary here. I mean, it usually is a good idea to get it off the long diagonal, the bishop on g7. But in this particular position, I'm not sure. With the knight on e5, I wanna put the rook on a3. Although we don't have to be afraid of ghosts. And he's not threatening b5 without losing a pawn here. So maybe we'll just go with this natural move. A lot of good players play the setup for white that I know. My good friend David Vigorito. And strong grandmasters like Gregory Kaidanov, Boris Golko. Golko might have had a game against Kasparov in this line, if I remember correctly, back in the 90s. Golko has a tremendous score against Kasparov, one of the few grandmasters with a winning score. And then Nella Jabuta played d4. So here I'm not really sure what to do now. He wants to play b5 and defend his extended pawn. If I play b5 myself, maybe, or just a5 and then b5 later. If I play a5, he could play bishop b5. That would be really bizarre. Maybe just b5. Maybe I even take with the pawn on b5 and just have like a space advantage. I don't want to let him play b5 and, you know, protect his precious passed pawn there on c4. Defian says, I'm not hanging. Move b5. Pilgor. Good call, man. Good call. Anna is an IM. We have an Anna? Is there an IM Anna here? What are you guys talking about? Anna Rudolph. Anna Rudolph is a men's IM? Really? That's weird. I didn't think she ever got to 2400. Her rating has dropped a lot since that. Alright. But she's a good player. Rook A8. Rook A8. Logical, right? He can always like sack a pawn with 93, although it's not clear. It's not really clear like how much compensation he has in that kind of situation. My knight's not really doing anything here, so I'm going to play knight f1. I guess he could sack 2 pieces for a rook. That's really bizarre. Alright, I have to be careful of the long diagonal, so I'm trying to neutralize it now. Trying to neutralize the long diagonal. He had some weird tactics like rook takes a1, rook takes a1, bishop takes b5, or something like that. Alright, now f4. It's really tempting to do f4. But I have the feeling that it's not really prudent. If I do 93... Okay. Key moment now. Maybe I should take with a knight. If I take with a pawn, it kind of weakens my king side. Also, knight takes away... Well, I'm going to lose a pawn if I do that, unfortunately. I guess I screwed this up. I guess I have to take with the pawn. Alright. It looks like black has some counterplay. Although I am threatening to win this pawn on c4. Not sure what's up with that. But I thought Nella Jabuta did a great job here. I definitely did not play this right on the king side. When he played f5, maybe I should just take on f5. That's probably my mistake. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I should have done. Pawn takes f5 is a little bit better probably than the game. Queen h4. Queen h4, maybe it's not a big deal. Very unpleasant. He has threats here. Bishop f1. That looks crazy. I have to play g3. I'm definitely trading on a8. You know, I've had enough of this rook on the f file. We are finished with the rook on the f file, sir. I don't think your rook can do that much damage on the a file. So we're gonna be careful here. Knight takes c4. Oof. Knight takes c4, queen takes, yeah. Knight takes c4, knight f3 check. Man, bishop takes f3. This looks vicious. Checks are us. Wow. Man, we have, it's 5-3. Wow. I didn't realize Nelijabuta was playing such a time control here. 5-3. I do knight takes c4 now. He's really down with the blitz. Oh. Has that. I'm gonna lose. Oh well. Blitz increment style. 5-3. I was probably winning there at some point at the end, but good game, man. Good game. Too fast. Alright, Azimli Soitari, Forensis came back with 8-0. Dude, you need to put an increment, Francis. Maybe next time. So, what's up, Azimli Soitari? Thanks for the game, Nelijabuta. Well played. I'm good, man. This might be the last game for today, guys. I think it's time. Boosted animal? Yeah, it was pretty lost at the end. He had a nice trick. I didn't see he could discover on my queen on the f5 because of the mate. So once he did that, I guess I was lost. I had chances. It was totally random. I think the honest... I should have offered a draw, like, before it got totally chaotic. It was probably about equal before the end. Chaos. Well, I had the feeling I was on the defensive for a while there. Nelijabuta is a very strong blitz player. A3. What are you guys talking about? 2700 Natalie Poganina. What are you guys talking about? So this is, I guess, a standard. I'm trying to move twice in a row. I get a little bit fruity when I'm at the last end of the stream. I get a little bit tired. Like I start doing crazy stuff, like trying to move twice in a row. Oh, Nelijabuta. That wasn't rated, thank God. I would have lost 1,000,000 points. This is actually a kind of normal, what do you call it? Pana Botvinnik attack. 94. Yep. Well, you took on c3. I can take on d8. I can do anything here. I could play queen c2 if I wanted to. Bishop takes d8, knight takes d1. What is going on? I guess that's playable. You're going to take on b2. And, okay, it's probably as good as anything. Knight takes c3. I thought you had a good knight on e4, though. Oh, why trading it? Doesn't seem necessary. Oh. Future is creating an alternate rating list based on variables not chess related, man. Guys are so mature. Knight takes c3. I hope my rating's not too high. A future Tao's list. Sometimes I worry. Harry Max, I can't play you again. Maybe later, like off stream or something. I you know, if you're around, I would enjoy it. What do I do now? Bishop takes d8, knight takes d1. What's up with that ending? I would be slightly better in an ending. Oh man, I don't know. I've never seen this happen. I guess I have to take back. I mean, Queen c2 is possible. Queen c2 takes e7, takes c3, but it's probably better to bring my pawn to the center. Nella Jabuda said he didn't feel that strong myself. I don't like playing king h7. f5 I feel not that comfortable. Nella Jabuda, I should take on f5. That's the normal reaction for white in those structures. But I kind of underestimated how much play you would get. And I think once you played f takes e, I'm in trouble. Or at least like I have no advantage anymore. I need to play pawn takes f5. And then it's like a position where white should be a little bit better. But I think once I didn't do that, yeah, I may have some issues. Queen c2, bishop d3. Oh man, this is nothing for white, huh? This is like a draw in the making. Take, bishop e2, castles. Man, we got nothing here. The tiniest of tiny, like some microscopic advantage, and I wasted a lot of time. Theoretically, like he's got a pawn on a white square, so maybe it's not enough though. I mean, his position is very solid. I have hanging pawns, so it's equal. Black equalized here very cleanly. I don't know, never seen that happen before. Now bishop g4. It looks like a Petrov at this point. But I think the better player should win this position. Or, well, maybe it's a draw no matter what. I don't know. Maybe it's... There are chances for the better player to win with either side. But objectively, it's equal. And the standard Petrov structure, just that there's two sets of pieces traded. That what's making it really brutal for me is this knight e4 move. It just forces basically not one but two pieces off the board, which is a favorite stratagem of my friend Dragon Kosic. I've told that story before. He's always talking about trading two pieces. So now what? Just really don't have anything. Queen d2. I don't know what else to play. I feel like I'm gonna be worse. Watch me fight for a draw against the 1900. Well, I have a good record against Azim Lee Soitari, but he's playing differently than his usual self. Usually he plays very risky kind of stuff, and in this game, he's gone super solid. So it's not in his normal character to play so solidly with black. Queen d6 is an excellent move too. Wonder about Queen g5 here. actually looks like a good move. I'm going to lose a pawn. That's a good move. It loses a pawn. That's outstanding, right? Just lose a pawn. And my a3 pawn is hit. It's very annoying. This probably doesn't do a whole lot. It does make lift for my king. Later on, not so relevant right now. He could even trade bishop for knight, but it would bring my bishop a targeting d5. I'll come a targeting d5, so maybe not a good idea. Though theoretically, in this kind of structure, it should be playable. So the problem is if I play queen g5, he has bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, and then queen takes a3, hitting another pawn. But maybe that's interesting, isn't it? We got to try something. Magnus versus Naka. No, seriously, Naka never beat Magnus? And in like a standard game? Is that right? Obviously I could play g4, guys, but I don't like to make pawn weaknesses in front of the king. So, not a good idea. It's been a while since I played Wazim Sutari. It goes for the queen exchange. Actually, I don't mind because that pin was killing me. The pin was just absolutely brutalizing my life. And now I can play bishop b5 and threaten like knight e5. We could theoretically reach good knight versus bad bishop. Although his bishop is pretty good. I mean, it's a good bad bishop, active bad bishop they call it. So it's defending the b1 square, among other things. But I think that black played a little too quickly here. Now rook c6, rook e6, f3. There is an issue with this position, and that's rook b8. Maybe I should play knight d7. Interesting idea, but not sure if it's really good. Going for the c5 outpost. I'd like to get my king up. And maybe this was a mistake. No, I think this is fine. Knight d7, and if rook e8, I just trade rooks and play knight c5. So, objectively, it seems like black should hold on, but if he's not careful, he can lose this ending. Guys, last game today. Mineland. I didn't get to you. Fleet, you'll come back soon. f3, knight c5 first. Not sure that's even best. I'll play f3, king f2. Maybe this is not even the best move. f3 first. Could have been better. Oh, man. Rook a2. Guys, I almost played rook a2. That's when you know it's the end of the stream. It's time to stop. It's time to stop if I play rook a2 there. No, Azim Sutari has to play rook e8. Its only move. Or some other weird move like maybe rook d6, but that drops a pawn. Now rook e8 was forced. So I think that he played the opening superbly, but lost the way. Not enough with this 2 pawns here. Guys, I'm going to be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. CET, and all this week, Monday to Friday. Check out my YouTube videos on video chess training. Probably tomorrow I will get a video up on the YouTube channel, and gotta stop those passed pawns, man. Also, if you want to ask me about lessons or training or any kind of questions, you can send me an email at videochesstrainer@gmail.com. Look at him go here with this, man. This looks a little scary now. Have to be careful. We're barely able to blockade here. Barely able to blockade. Extra knight goes a long way. Scary, scary passed pawns. F3 only move. And we're probably just in time to wrap it up. Although I have knight e5 threatened, so that kills it. That should kill it. Rook e1 is always a good precautionary move, but I didn't want to give him time to play rook e3. Now he's trying to get some play against my knight, but it's too slow. Trying to undermine my knight is a little bit slow here. Now that's good because it protects d4. Hisidon said the 400 rating point gap is 92%. Yeah, that's why I get concerned when I play people that are 400 points lower and they have like 10-6 score or something. We've had that issue sometimes here on the stream. And sometimes, you know, if you have like 10-6 and your rating is 1900, that's kind of too much. But this is also too much. Azim Lisutari has come close to beating and drawing against me before. Good game, man. Alright, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. And